more from over in Carl Junction as the recently impeached Mike Moss takes his case to court. And Pittsburgh can expect to pay more in property taxes, why the city manager says the rate increase is necessary. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, Pittsburgh votes to raise the city's property tax rate. The city manager says it's a necessary move. Plus,
impeached Carl Junction Mayor Mike Moss is now taking his case to court. I'm Blake Gully. Coming up, we'll break down the newly filed petition.
And the McDonald County Courthouse will soon get a necessary makeover.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Pittsburgh property owners face higher taxes after the city council votes to exceed state revenue limits. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Tanya Bach. The council made the decision in a 3-2 vote last night. KOAM's Ty Park sat down with the Pittsburgh city manager to learn more about the revenue neutral rate and why city leaders say their hands were tied.
City Council of Pittsburgh voted to exceed the revenue neutrality rate and bring in additional income on property tax.
Accepting the revenue neutral rate would have meant that we would have had to decrease the mills and keep the tax dollars the same. And so the commission voted to exceed the revenue neutral rate and thereby allowing us to keep our mills where they are and just take that growth to put into our budget so we can keep up with inflation.
The revenue neutral rate is a state law that requires city governments to adjust their tax mills so the amount of money collected stays the same each year. Pittsburgh City Manager Darren Hall tells KOAM the reason for it to be exceeded is because of the increase in costs.
About 3% over last year. I mean, we've gone through and calculated all the insurance, the raises, the cost of personnel, our benefits, electricity, all the utilities, the cost of goods. And so when you work all that into the formula, our costs have gone up about 3%.
Concerned citizens have already begun to ask questions. When I asked the city manager and commissioner to cut the over $74 million budget by the estimated $700,000 this tax increase would bring in, the city manager insisted that was an impossible task and tried to infer it would require cutting salaries. Darren Hall says that if the general fund were to be cut, it could result in closing a fire station.
His taxes aren't good. Nobody wants to pay any more tax than they have to. But I think the big takeaway for us is the local property tax that you pay in your community is going to be spent in your community.
In Pittsburgh, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Hall says the increase is there to keep up with the rising cost of providing services for the people of Pittsburgh. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
We have had a few showers still passing by very slow, but none of these are really that strong. We're only getting about 1/10 of an inch of rain accumulation per hour as these slowly move over southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. We also have a couple of these isolated showers moving just north of Carthage area. So all of this is going to continue its trek off to the east-southeast. By the time we get to about 10-11 p.m., we're really looking at just very isolated light showers. All of this starts to break apart overnight tonight. We could see a couple more isolated showers as we start our Thursday. But again, those are going to be very light drizzle and sprinkles, not moderate showers. And then for the afternoon, temperatures are heating up into the low 90s and the sun starts to peek back out as we head through the evening. We're going to have those details coming up.
Thanks, Lindsay. A new legal battle is brewing in Carl Junction. Former Mayor Mike Moss is challenging his impeachment. Last night, Moss filed a petition in Jasper County Circuit Court. KOAM's Blake Gully spoke with his attorney about the case.
Weeks after being impeached, the former mayor of Carl Junction believes he was unlawfully removed from office.
In order to justify the removal, they have to show some kind of conduct on his part that negatively affected the functioning of the government of Carl Junction. And nothing like that happened. In fact, the administrator testified at the hearing that there hadn't been any disruption of government functions.
The petition also states the council relied on evidence from outside of Moss's time in office. His attorney says that made the proceedings improper.
He said the remark, again, in a private home, in a private conversation to another council member who then filed a complaint. Didn't say anything to him at the time, didn't say, oh, Mr. Moss, that's kind of out of order. Maybe you shouldn't be talking like that. No, instead what he does is he writes a written complaint.
Fleischaker is requesting a temporary order to reinstate Moss while the appeal moves forward. Next week, Carl Junction's aldermen will hold a special session ahead of their regular meeting to present candidates to fill the vacant mayor's seat. Reporting from Joplin, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
We reached out to the Carl Junction City Clerk office for a response on the filing. As of now, no comment has been provided. County commissioners are looking to give the McDonald County Courthouse a facelift with a roof replacement. This comes after the county battled leaks in the building for years. The commission is currently accepting bids for the project, which would see the complete removal of the current roof, installation of a new roof with a 20-year plus lifespan, waterproofing, and the replacement of all gutters and downspouts. At this time, officials do not have an estimate on what it will cost, but say it is a necessary project.
Again, we're responsible as a county commission to maintain our county facilities. This again is our biggest facility here in the county, and we want to make sure that it's taken care of to protect the county's investment.
The project will need to be completed by mid-December to ensure payment in the 2025 fiscal year. If you're interested in submitting a bid for the project, we have details on how to do that on our website at koamnewsnow.com. Maggie Grebe Memorial Park in Opolis, Kansas has been a community favorite since 1980, but the playground equipment is now unsafe for children. Run by dedicated volunteers, the park is a hub for gatherings, including the annual 4th of July celebration. The volunteers created a fundraiser aiming to raise $30,000 to revitalize and preserve the current equipment while adding new pieces of equipment for park goers.
It really is a small community feeling too, you know, like everybody knows everybody, and so it's just, I just think it's very important that we keep this park alive, you know, and keep something that attracts people here too, because it's a very good community to be a part of.
As of today, the community has raised close to $14,000. Well, folks in Joplin will step up to join the fight against Alzheimer's disease. That story is coming up, but up first, political violence.
A right-wing political activist is shot while speaking at a university in Utah. I'm Torian Small with developing details in this story.
Authorities are working to piece together the shooting death of political activist Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. As Torian Small reports, Kirk's death is being mourned by President Trump and a number of political leaders.
Charlie Kirk, a right-wing political activist, died Wednesday after being shot in the neck at Utah Valley University.
I run the largest pro-American student organization in the country.
Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, an organization for young conservatives, was known for inviting and engaging in political debate on college campuses.
This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim.
President Trump announced Kirk's death on social media and ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff throughout the nation. At a Wednesday evening press conference, authorities said they are still working to piece together details surrounding the shooting.
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a fair, potentially from a roof, yes.
Authorities vowed to bring those responsible for the shooting to justice.
To whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law.
Kirk's death comes in the wake of a spate of recent politically motivated violence, including the assassination attempt of then presidential nominee Donald Trump in 2024 and the shooting of 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses in June.
In Washington, a moment of silence was held for Kirk on the House floor. Kirk, 31, leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
Federal authorities say the manhunt for the shooter continues and no one is currently in custody. Authorities charge a man in connection to a Monday night shooting. McDonald County Sheriff's deputies responded to the call just before 9:30. Dispatch notified authorities the victim had been shot around the neck and head area. Upon arrival, deputies found the victim holding a towel over his left ear. He said this man, Christopher Drum of Neosho, had shot him and then left with another person. Troopers found the vehicle Drum had left in, where they also found a rifle. They say they found Drum walking along the highway looking for his phone. Prosecutors have charged Drum with felony domestic assault in the first degree and felony armed criminal action. Our community stories are often uncovered thanks to you, our viewers. We invite you to share your news tips with us, scan the QR code, and you'll be taken to a form where you can submit a tip quickly and easily. Your voice helps keep our community informed and connected. Thank you for being a part of the story. Well, this Saturday marks an important step in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. Across Missouri, more than 222,000 seniors over the age of 65 are living with Alzheimer's. That's according to the Alzheimer's Association. Organizers of this weekend's Walk to End Alzheimer's are calling on the community to join the cause, reminding us the journey to end this devastating disease starts with just one step. Lindsay returns next with a complete look at your forecast. And a little later, vaccine exemptions climb in Missouri. The latest data on childhood immunizations.
At Casey's, we're
We have had some average temperatures today and a few showers. Let's go ahead and take a look. We got down to the mid 60s for our overnight low last night and into today, where our average is normally sitting about at 62. We were at 64, not too far off. And then our high today was right on par with average. So today was a normal September day, not really seeing a big difference there, but we did have a few showers that have started to push into our southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma counties. We're not seeing much else going on tonight other than those showers starting to dwindle. Now you can see downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex looking pretty good for the rest of the night. Those showers are really going to start to end just after midnight tonight. We're left with some drizzle and some isolated, very light showers, if not just sprinkles. And then we're going to be moving over to just partly cloudy skies. So let's go ahead and take a look at our future track as we head into the rest of the evening. Like I said, closer to midnight, most of this breaks apart and we're left with just some light drizzle, and that's going to be out in the Columbus, Oswego area, out near Veneta as well, Bella Vista, and even near the Springfield area, Nevada. This is going to be very, very light, not even 1/100 of an inch per hour. So drizzle, sprinkles, that continues into Thursday morning. Here we are about 5 a.m. Still seeing some clouds covering our central counties. Joplin may be getting some sprinkles by the morning down to Bella Vista, so mostly along I-49. Now, this will continue to push out. A few clouds roll in into southeastern Kansas by 8 a.m. And again, the same deal, just the light sprinkles to drizzle as we start our day. It all breaks apart very quickly, and we're looking at a lot of sunshine for our Thursday afternoon, maybe some clouds, but overall just beautiful weather. Again, partly cloudy skies, but temperatures warming up to the 90s. We're going to be about 90 to 91 degrees, especially with that surface heating. Could get a couple of degrees warmer. So it's going to be a hot one on Thursday. That continues Friday, 93, Saturday, 94. So this is our return of summer later this week and into the weekend. Actually doesn't really end until we get to Wednesday of next week, where we're staying in the 90s with our overnight lows in the low 70s. So we said summer wasn't quite over yet, and then here it is. We get that nice long week of summertime conditions, but you can see by Thursday, Friday, and next Saturday, we're back down into the lower 80s by Friday and Saturday. So fall will settle back in relatively quickly, but we do still have just those couple of days, 94 Saturday, 93 Sunday and Monday, 94 on Tuesday, 92 on Wednesday, and then back into the 80s by next Thursday.
All right, we got to get through this heat. Well, childhood vaccinations are making headlines, with Florida proposing getting rid of requirements for schools. Chris Bryant has the vaccination rates for students in Missouri. What health officials say about the effectiveness of the shots.
According to data from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, when it comes to the fully immunization rates of kindergartners from the 2020-2021 school year to now is around 90%.
Vaccines are really an integral part of our public health system. I know there's, questions on most recently with COVID, what type of research goes into. Years of research, an immense amount of research goes into ensuring to make sure that vaccines are safe and effective.
The rate of kids fully vaccinated against chickenpox sits at 89% since the 2023 school year.
You can tell from across years of history that vaccines do work. If they didn't work, we would not be pretty much in a situation where smallpox has been eradicated. I mean, up until recent years, measles, for example, we were not having cases of measles.
The vaccination rates climb higher to nearly 98% when it comes to 8th graders, with two exceptions, the meningitis and Tdap vaccines. Those are around 91%.
If an individual is not vaccinated, you are going to be at increased risk, especially the pediatric population.
The non-medical exemption rate has climbed slightly each year since 2020, but medical exemptions have held pretty steady.
There are certain medical conditions that you'd basically not want to have a particular vaccination, but it's somewhat far and in between.
The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services says vaccines are an important part of the health of Missourians of all ages.
Vaccines work. They are the best line of defense, and they help protect those that can't have the vaccines.
If you have questions about vaccinations, health officials say it's best to talk to your doctor about those concerns.
Any physician, any provider, nurse practitioner, PA can certainly have that discussion with you and your family.
Experts say individuals not vaccinated will be at increased risk of contracting a virus or disease. They go on to say vaccination is the best line of defense. Well, still ahead, the Royals and Cardinals are back in action tonight with the season rapidly winding down. We'll see how they fared. Plus, the Galena Bulldogs are looking to build off their momentum gained a year ago. We'll hear from the team after this.
The Galena Bulldogs took a big step forward in 2024, winning 4 games. And as the Bulldogs enter year 3 of the Jacoby Martin era, they look to build off of last year's momentum. A key to Galena's success this season will come up front on the offensive line that features a lot of experience. With a run-heavy scheme offensively, the men in the trenches not only set the tone, but the table for those in the backfield to feed off of.
We return Braden Buckle, who's a senior, Peyton Fields, he's a junior for us, second-year starter. Those two guys, they're strong, physical kids. Colt McQuillan there is a guard. CJ Pilak, he stepped in to be that center for us. If those guys are firing on all cylinders, it's going to be a great night.
It's where it starts. If we're not doing our job, then really our backs can't do their job. So we just got to maintain blocks and do our thing, and then our running backs can do theirs, find holes and fill them and try to get to the house. We're all family. We build each other up. The thing we don't do is break each other down. All try our best to build each other up and lead each other, even if it's the younger guy leading an older guy that's upset, try to build him up.
To open the season, Galena fell on the road against reigning district champion Frontenac. And as the Bulldogs prepare for this Friday, they are going back to the basics, focusing on the fundamentals to help set themselves up for success.
These first couple of weeks, that's what it's about, is taking care of the fundamentals, getting back to basics, doing what we do. Yeah, wins are great, but we want to make sure we get back to what we do, have our bread and butter working for us. And if we can get back to basics, just simple technique, that's what we're going to do.
We're a small school, so we don't have the biggest or the strongest or the fastest kids, but if you can get low and drive your legs all the time, then good things will happen. Every day, coaches and players are learning something new, putting in new drills, working extra hard every week, every day, every week, just to get better.
Galena returns to action on Friday in their home opener against Columbus. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. With under 20 games remaining on the regular season schedule, the Royals and Cardinals have some ground to make up quickly if they want to play in October. Both teams in action this evening, starting with the boys in blue, the Royals taking on the Guardians in Game 3 of their 4-game set in Cleveland. Kansas City snaps their 3-game losing streak with a 4-3 win over the Guardians. Vinny Pasquantino recorded his 100th RBI on the season, with Michael Garcia knocking in the game-winning run with a double in the 7th inning. Michael Walker went on the injured list yesterday, so the bullpen had to step up with 6 different guys pitching as Luinder Avila picks up his first career win. Series finale is tomorrow. Cardinals wrapping up their series in Seattle against the Mariners. This one currently tied at 1 through 5 innings. Ivan Herrera putting the Redbirds on the board with a solo home run, his 15th long ball of the year. The Royals need St. Louis to win as they trail the Mariners for that last spot in the AL wild card. So Royals fans, I know it's weird, but you got to root for the Cardinals. I know. I feel your pain, but you have to if you want the Royals in the postseason. Pitt State women's soccer back in action at home today against Southwest Baptist, and the Gorillas improved to 2-1 on the young season with a 5-1 victory over the Bearcats. 4 different PSU players scored in the win, but it was Sailor Jensen leading the way with a pair of goals. Royals in a weird position right now, sitting 3.5 games out. Cardinals need to win to get them to 3 games, but it's an uphill battle, and the Royals have to get hot.
That is an interesting thing, like rooting for your possible enemy just to advance. But you know what happens.
You're rooting for your rival. You hate doing it, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah. Well, that's a look at sports. We're back after this.
Employers are needing people to be a hero.
We have some isolated showers still sticking around through the early Thursday morning hours before about 8 a.m. But the rest of the day, we're looking at some partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny and temperatures getting into the 90s. That stays the theme over the weekend. Low 90s and sunny skies all weekend long and into next week.
Lindsay, thanks. Well, the Crawford County Conservation District hosted a Bio Blitz event today at Crawford State Park. The event was designed to promote the district's Parks for Pollinators campaign, which lasts the entire month of September. Now, everyone who visits the park is welcome to take part.
You have people in the community who are becoming immersed in nature. They're getting a chance to get out to their parks. They're getting a chance to learn more about what pollinators even are, butterflies, beetles, birds, anything that helps with pollination of plants, which we all depend on if, we want to eat.
To participate, park visitors can download the iNaturalist app on their phones, where they can upload photos of insects, animals, and plants. Speaking of pollinators, I've been seeing a lot of butterflies in my backyard. Loving it. Final sports note?
Final sports note, Royals and Cardinals running out of time. Still in the playoff hunt, but need to get some wins. Stack them quick, too.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great night and an even better Thursday.